prints all the way to the edge? Wait, no, hold on.
It prints outside the bed. Alright, let's first get a baseline and see how it does with the... Usually you want a negative offset, but we'll just see. It might just work, which would be really funny if it did. Yeah. So, I guess we can sort of make some stuff for the print errors now since we're calibrating. Oh, you zoomed it in.
First layers. So this is, it's too high.
Yeah.
This is pretty much perfect.
So this is what you get when you don't squish it enough. So we still need to dial the printer down a little bit. Also, you can see that the lines aren't straight, and that's a problem too. So we'll just keep bringing it down until that levels out. Just get it nice and squished in there. There shouldn't be any gaps between these lines.
Actually, if you put it in the enclosure, that shouldn't be too bad.
No, but the enclosure itself. Okay, that's closer. See that? The difference between this one?
Oh yeah,
and the
definitely
last one.
closer. Still needs more squish, but
Yeah. Okay, so now you can notice the lines are a little bit more straight, and as it progresses down, I was adjusting it farther and farther down. You can't really see it though, the effect of the squish until you get to this little patch here, and it looks a lot tighter than the last one, but you can still sort of see through it. So I'm going to give it a little bit more. You just slice something for your printer and send it, it's going to be like, nope, that's not for me, and it won't print it. Or it'll tell you not to print it.
yeah, so pretty much it's just a totally flat part. So
Yeah,
you
that's a
just
little
load the...
Okay, so this is a little closer, but we still need to get a little bit because you can still see through it, and the squish isn't quite done right. But I am liking that it's sticking to the bed. If it wasn't sticking, it would be peeling up from either edge of this, but it isn't. So just need to squish it a little more. Oh yeah, there we go.
That looks good.
Do you reckon a little more, or do you think that's... Looks like they might be over squishing a little bit, to be honest. See the edges?
Yeah, maybe a little bit up.
Okay, well the one before this, which is this pad, this was 0.68, and this is like 0.86.
Damn, see this?
Yeah. It just looks a little bit like it's coming apart, and if you look at the, well, you can't see it now, but the corners weren't right either.
Yeah.
So what do you think? Like
Right in
0.75?
between, yeah. That one, this one is pretty
0.68
close.
and 0.86.
Yeah.
It comes off like one thing. That's nice. Feel that. Take it off the thing. Feel how it comes off.
Yep.
Yeah. Awesome. Perfect.
Very nice.
Okay. So this is what it's supposed to look like. So you can't really see through it. Squishes are nice. And if you look at the edges, like right and left, they are even with each other. A little bit of difference. And this is where the extruder pulled off this little hair here. But yeah, you can see that we have nice sharp corners. So if you look, these corners are supposed to be nice and sharp, and it's supposed to be flat. Earlier in the thing, I had it high, and you can see that it's not flat, and then you can see where I adjusted it down. As well as I think a little bit of schmutz came off the extruder. But the difference between squished enough down and not enough down is top and bottom. So top is not enough squish, bottom is enough squish. And here, if this has any like bumps in it, or if it looks like it's been like dragging, or if it's not smooth, then you're squishing too much. So it should be fine. Went and did it.
Yeah.
We're just going to copy this little file to the desktop.
Yeah. I can do that.
Flash printer firmware. And then we have the firmware image, which is, well, it's this file, this hex file. And then this is a serial port, which is basically the USB mode and attached serial mode. And since we found it, we're just going to hit flash. And that will reset the printer and flash it. Okay, we're done with flashing. So that's the firmware done. Now we can unplug it, and what we're going to do at this point is I'm going to take the SD card out of the front panel here. You can just pull it out. I'm going to drop the screen share for a second. So basically what this is it's just a 16 gig regular size SD card that's not an adapter. It's actually the whole thing. So what we do is we just plug this into a card reader. I have one on my laptop. And then I will basically put the sliced model there, and that's where it will end up. So I'm going to put my screen back up again. Okay. Find my card slot. Okay. Now I need the whatever we're going to print. So what are we printing? All right. So now we have the files. So basically all you got to do is go over here, file, import, and then you just import STL. And then we go find it, which is this drive here. And it's in here, files, and there's the calibration group. So when we hit open, you notice that it basically lands on the plater the way it's going to, and you can click around and you can click and drag, and it'll drag you all over. But XYZ, you can basically orient the model however you want to. Place on face is usually good to get it on the right flat spot. And then basically what we're going to do is we're just going to hit slice, and it should just do it. And this is a really small model, so it doesn't take very long, but for big complicated models, it actually takes a little while for it to do it, because what it's doing is it's converting all of the model information into line-by-line machine code. So if we look at what that is, well, once we export the G code, then the file is exported now. So if we open this up with Notepad, then basically what you get is all these semicolons or comments. So basically at this point it starts running machine code, and all the G code file is just a really big long list of coordinates and commands for the machine to run, and then once you basically just run through it. So this is basically how to build. This is instructions on how, in a way the printer nozzle can understand about how to build this. So we've already loaded our model information onto here from the computer earlier. So what we're going to do is we're basically just going to take this and insert it. It doesn't click, it just pushes in. And then it'll show you a bunch of files that you've got. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go down to here. And these are filament specific, so you have to pick the filament in the software. But when you do this, you should be able to just hit go. And what you want to do is double check your temperatures to make sure that they are the correct temperatures for your filament. So for PLA, it's usually around 215 and 60 for the bed. So this is the extruder end and this is the bed end. This is the sheet that you're using. So you check WA15 in the corner there. This is time remaining. This is the current adjustment of the speed parameter. So you can do live adjustment of the speed. 100% is normal, 200% is twice as fast. Z is where the printer thinks it is. So in Z, it means elevation. So let me get this in there actually, because the sheet's not on straight. Okay, the sheet's on straight now. You always have to check the sheet at the studs back here to make sure that they are correct. And then, so you want to check this to make sure that it's straight. all the way around. And if you see it kind of off to the side, just grab it by the front corners here, these little corners underneath here, and that'll let you pick it up off the bed and adjust it. And yeah, once you get that confirmed, everything's good to go. It will figure out where Z is because of this PIDNA probe here. That silver thing that's vertical with the black cable coming up the top is a magnetic probe, and it will be able to detect how far off the bed it is to a very good accuracy. And then because of the offsets that we just calibrated, it will be able to figure out exactly how far away from the sheet the nozzle should be. And this is a very, very fine measurement. This is a millimeter measurement with 3 decimal places out to it, so you can be very, very accurate with these Z motors. And then once that's ready to go, it'll just start printing, and that should be that. And it should take about 40 minutes to do at 100% speed. So basically at this point, we're just going to go ahead and print the thing. At 100% speed, it should take 40 minutes to do. At 200% speed, it'll take 20, and therefore, so on and so forth. The remaining time will update depending on what you set your speed multiplier to. Usually 100% is okay unless you really need something done quickly. 100% is what you should leave it set to most of the time. There we go. So when it starts to print, you want to make sure that your first layer is sticking to the bed. So usually a good idea to kind of look at it. I know the head's kind of in the way. Just make sure you don't touch any moving parts. What this model does is, or what the stock settings will do, is basically draw a perimeter around it. So that little ring there, which basically shows you the entire print area that it's going to use right at the beginning, at least for the first layer. And then what it'll do is it'll just start filling it in. And then we'll do first layer, that'll do the first layer, and then after the first layer gets stuck down, it's usually good to go. But it's a good idea to keep an eye on things, especially if it's a small surface area part, because things can come unstuck.
I was going 40 miles a day, 10 miles to the gallon, 40 miles a day.
Yes.
We forgot to film.
Oh, dang it.
It's cool, I got
It
it.
was at 03 before. Cool.
Well, it's done. You want to take it off?
I'll take a picture of this, actually.
Presidente of the club. I suppose we're going to need your calipers. And for this, you can just pull it off the bed. You don't need to actually break the whole bed, but you can if you want to. Honestly, I would say the whole freaking print plate looked perfect. So nice when they're new.
First print. Oh, nice.
It's a good feeling, yeah?
Oh, yeah.
How's the texture?
Oh, looks good, dude.
Boom. That's just what I would say. You want to go ahead and check it for calibration? See how it's supposed to be 20 millimeters.
That's pretty dang close.
What we got?
19.99.
Nice. I think that's about as close as you can get. I don't want to screw around with the wall if we don't have to.
Nice.
Yeah. So what are you talking about the walls? Can I see?
Yeah, here. Yeah, let me grab.
Just do it to the.
I'll try and. So you see, in this one, I'll just hold it there and let you zoom.
Okay.
So see on the edge, you kind of see some gap between where it zigzags and the wall itself,
Yeah.
just along the edges there. There's a setting you can kind of tweak to get that. So this is one of mine.
Hold still. Oh yeah.
You see how it kind of squishes better into the wall.
Yeah.
So that's one thing we can probably work with. But honestly, it looks really good. I think the squish is good. You don't really feel the ridges too much. So yeah.
I would say that's.
Overall good for first print, yeah.
I would say it's good enough to work that way.
Oh, definitely.
Even if we
Definitely.
don't want to tweak it for the aesthetics, you know.
For sure.
Anyway, want to call it?
Signing off. You guys want to get in here? 6 feet? Actually, just bring your pen.
Here, let's do this. We got a lot more space over that way. We'll just like.